Hi, I'm Anita. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to make the Dancing Hearts bracelet. This bracelet is going to be made with Delica size 11/0 Miyuki beads today. Those are cylinder type beads. This can also be made with seed beads if you don't have Delicas on hand. First, let me review some of the materials you're going to be needing for today's project. To start, you're going to be needing 6-pound Fireline, and I'm going to suggest that you have 2 beading needles. These are size 10. You're going to need a pair of wire cutters, flat nose pliers, 2 pair, a pair of sharp scissors, and round nose pliers. You're also going to need, for findings, a couple of wire guardians, a lobster clasp, and a couple of O-rings. I've got a 4mm and a 6mm O-ring. And these are the Delicas that I'm using. This is kind of a turquoise color. The exact number of this particular color will be listed in the description box. These are galvanized silver, also Delicas. I have an extender chain, and this is a head pin with a ball tip. And then I've got 3 Firepolish beads, 3mm. These are kind of like a turquoise with an AB finish on them. So that's what you'll need for today. Gather your materials and let's get started. So to start, you're going to thread your needle with about 2 yards of Fireline. This particular project is going to take quite a bit of thread. I think it's going to take at least 6 yards. So start out with 2 yards, whatever a comfortable length is for you to begin with. Thread your needle, and we're going to start by picking up 2 silver Delicas, like that. Let me bring my camera down closer. Okay, let's see if we can see this a little better. We've got 2 silver Delicas, and then I'm going to pick up 2 turquoise Delicas, like that. You're going to bring that to the end, and you're going to leave about a 6-inch tail, long enough to sew back in. Now you're going to sew back up through the first 2 silver Delicas, like that. Pull your thread. Now we're going to reinforce by sewing back through the 2 turquoise. I'm going to do this a couple of times. I'm going to go back up through the silver now, like that, and back down through the turquoise. So that's what you should have. So now we're going to pick up 2 more turquoise Delicas. We're exiting that Delica there. We're going to go back through the top, like that. This is a ladder stitch. Now you're going to go back through the 2 beads we just added. Like that. Pull that nice and snug. Now you're going to pick up 2 more turquoise Delicas. Go back through the bottom of this Delica here. And now go back through the 2 beads we just added. So I'm going to add turquoise Delicas until I have a total of 7. So you'll have your 2 silver at the beginning, and then we have to have 7 sets of 2 on the turquoise. So I'm going to continue adding. Coming through those 2 Delicas, like that. Then back through the beads we just added. Pick up 2 more. Go Go down through the one we just added. Like that. So I've got 5. We need to add 2 more. Repeat the same process. Bring your needle back through the one you just added. You're going to have to kind of hold it between your fingers as you're going until you get a few of the beads added. So now we have 6 on. I need 1 more set of 2 turquoise. Coming through these Delicas. Then bringing your needle down through the beads you just added. Now pick up 2 silver Delicas. Like that. You're exiting here, you're going back through the top. Like that. And then back through the bead you just added. So that's the template or pattern for 1 heart. So now we're going to add another heart. That's the base for the heart, basically. So we're going to add 2 silver Delicas. So each time you start a new pattern, you have to make sure that you're starting with 2 silver, 7 of the turquoise, and then 2 silver. So from here, we just added our silver. We want to come back down through the beads we just added, like that, and start picking up turquoise again. Like that. Go back through the one you just added, and you're going to keep repeating that pattern until you have the length of the bracelet that you want. So you start out with 2 silver Delicas, then you have 7 of the turquoise, and then 2 silver Delicas. Then you repeat the pattern. Start with 2 silver Delicas, 7 turquoise, and another silver. So each time you start a new pattern, make sure you have the 2 silver in between each new set. So you're going to start with 2 silver here. You're going to have 7 turquoise. You're going to have these double 2 silver here, 7 double 2 silver, etc. And when you end, you're going to end with just 1 set of silver at the end. So I'd like you to continue repeating this pattern, adding sets of 2, as I mentioned the counts, until you get the length of bracelet that you want. Now the bracelet I'm making today is probably going to be 7 inches. I'm going to be making it with 9 hearts. So if you need it smaller, just do less number of hearts. So keep in mind that you're going to measure from here to the end of where your pattern's going to finish, and you're going to add an inch for the clasp, and that will give you the completed length for your bracelet. So go ahead and continue adding in that manner. Rewind if you need to, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm back. So here's what I have done so far. So as you can see, we've got the beginning 2, the 7 in between each set with 2 silvers, because each silver indicates the end of a heart and then the beginning of a new heart. So always make sure you have the 2 sets of silver in between here, and you're going to end up with 1 at the end for the clasp. Okay, so now we're going to go on to building our hearts. So you should be exiting out of 1 set of silver like this, and we're going to build the bottom of the heart first. So we're going in this direction. So to start, you're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise, like that. Now we're going to do brick stitch. So with your thread coming out of this silver right here, you're going to go under the second thread bridge. So that's your first thread bridge. This is your second thread bridge. So you want your needle to come underneath that thread bridge right there, like that. Pull your thread. And you want these to stack. So when you do your first 2 stitches, you're going to bring your needle back through this turquoise, like this. So you might have to kind of pinch it with your fingers. Pull your needle through, just kind of hold it together. Now, with your thread coming out of this Delica, you're going to come down the silver on the right, pull your thread, and then you're going to go back up the turquoise like this. So you're only going to do that reinforcing when you're starting a new row like that. So now we're going to pick up another turquoise. And you're going to repeat that step. So the first beginning of the row, you're picking up 2 beads, and then you're picking up 1 bead. So we're picking up 1 turquoise Delica, going under the next thread bridge right here. Now go back up through that Delica. Pull nice and snug, and that's going to seat them right up against each other like that. So pick up another turquoise Delica, go under the next thread bridge like that. And then back up through the Delica bead like that. Do that again. Pick up another Delica, go under the next thread bridge. Now bring your needle back through the Delica, like that. Pick up another Delica. Go through the next thread bridge, like that. And then bring your needle back through that Delica. Once you get the pattern down, it's a very easy stitch. So we've got a couple more to add, 1 more turquoise Delica here. Now, as you're doing each row, you're reducing by 1. So go under this thread bridge like that. And then bring your needle back up through the bead you just added, like that. Pull. Nice and snug. So now we're going to add a silver Delica here, because this is the last thread bridge before the end of that pattern. So pick up a silver Delica here, go under that next thread bridge, like that. Now bring your needle back up through that Delica, like that. So now we're going back this direction. So you're going back and forth until you have the heart doing a V shape. So we'll do just a few more with you, and then I'm going to send you on your own. So once you've completed that row, we're going back and forth. You're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise Delica. So when you're starting a new row, You start with 2, silver and turquoise. So now we want to go in the second thread bridge, just for the first step here. So there's my first thread bridge. I'm going into this second one, like that. Pull your thread. And remember, we have to reinforce this. So we're going back up through the Delica on the right side, the turquoise one, like that. Pull your thread. We're going to go back down the silver, like this. And then back up the turquoise, like that. Now we're going to continue adding a Delica in each thread bridge, like that, until you come to this last thread bridge. Then you're going to add a silver. Then you're going to repeat. You're going to go back the other way. So when you start your next new row up here, you're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise, go in the second thread bridge, and then from there on you pick up 1 Delica, going through each thread bridge until you get to the end. So I want you to repeat that process, adding single Delicas. So going this direction, you're going to add a turquoise till you get to the last thread bridge right here. Here you'll have to add a silver on this last thread bridge here. So go ahead and continue with that pattern, and I'll meet you back when we get near the bottom of that edge. Okay, so here where I am so far, I've got a few more beads left to add. So this is what you should have, like this, with the silvers on each of the edges, like that. So now I'm starting a new row. I'm picking up a silver and a turquoise. I'm exiting here. I want to go in the second thread bridge because this is my first new row here. So I'm going underneath like that, pulling my thread, go back up through the turquoise like that, reinforce this one because it's the first one. Go back down the silver, like that. And then back up the turquoise, and that will straighten that little guy up. Like that, see? So now we're on our last thread bridge, so we want to put a silver there. So pick up a silver, go through that thread bridge, now go back up the silver, like that. Pull your thread. Okay, so now we're on our last row. And as you can see, we only have 2 thread bridges left. So here we're going to pick up 2 silver because that's the very bottom of our heart. So pick up 2 silver Delicas, going under the second thread bridge, like that. Now you're going to go back up the Delica here on your left because we need to reinforce. Pull your thread, go down the Delica on the right, pull, now back up the Delica on the left. That completes the bottom of the heart. So that's what you should have. So now we need to get to the other side to do the 2 top little round edges of the heart. So we're going to do one at a time. So to get there, you have to travel following your thread path. So for coming out here, you're going to bring your needle, go down through all of these beads like that. So advance your needle. Make sure you go through all of them. And you can do it in more than one step if you need to. I like to try to get mine all in one swoop. There we go. So there's my needle going through all of those beads. Pull that through. Now I'm going to turn this up. And now I'm going to start making just this little section of the heart here. So we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise. Exiting here, you're going through the second thread bridge right there. Pull your thread, reinforce, go back up the turquoise like that, pull, now go down the silver like that, and then back up the turquoise. Pick up another turquoise, going under the thread bridge, right there. Pull your thread and go back up the turquoise bead. So now we're going to pick up a silver. So when you're starting the beginning of your heart tip here, you're only going to have 2 turquoises and then a silver, and that's going to complete that section. So I'm picking up a silver here, going under the next thread bridge, like that. Then go back up that silver, like that. Now I'm going to pick up a silver and a turquoise. Like that. I'm exiting this Delica here. I'm going to go in the second thread bridge right here. Pull that through and reinforce by going back up through the Delica, down the silver and up the Delica. Like that. Now we're going to pick up a silver because we've got 1 thread bridge left. And after you do the first heart, it'll be easy because you'll remember which color you need to pick up just by looking at what you did on the last pattern. So I'm going under this thread bridge like that, and then back up that silver bead like that. So that's the tip of the heart here. I've only got 2 thread bridges left, so I need to pick up 2 silver here. Like that. Exiting that Delica, going in the second thread bridge, right there. Now I'm going to reinforce, going up the silver on the left and down the silver on the right, then back up the silver on the left, like that. So that completes the tip of that heart, as you could see. So now we're going to come down, but before we do the other half, we're going to do the clasp on this end here. So go ahead and get that far, and then we'll be adding the clasp next. Okay, so once you've completed the tip of that heart, you're exiting right here on that left Delica. You want to bring your needle down through this Delica, through the next 5 Delica beads. So you're coming down like this, through those 5 Delicas. So now I'm going to pick up 3 Delicas, my Firepolish bead, 3 more Delicas, like that. Bring that down. Now I'm going to pick up my Wire Guardian. Doesn't matter which side you go on, just pop your needle through, bring that down. Now I'm going to go back through the Wire Guardian on the other side. Make sure your thread stays in that channel, like that. Now you're going to pick up 3 more Delicas, go through the Firepolish bead right here, like that. Pick up 3 more silver. And you're going to go through the 2 Delicas, going through the opposite side of where you started. Like that. Just pull it, get your thread to all come together, nice and snug. That's what it should look like. And we're going to reinforce this 2 more times. So go back through and down through all the beads twice. And then I'll meet you back when you're coming out of here. Okay, I've just reinforced this 2 more times. And I'm going to bring my needle back down through those 2 we started with, like that. Now we're going to advance our needle down through the rest of these silver beads and all the way up the other side. So here's what you're going to do. Just bring your needle down through all of these silver beads like that. Now we're going back up this side. And if you can get it through all of them at one time, great. If you can't, that's all right. You can do multiple steps. So that's what you should be taking your needle through all of those beads like that. And now we're going to flip this back up. So here's your needle coming out of the left side of these silver beads here. We're going to complete this other side of the heart. So like we did here, we're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise. Exiting that silver, you're going in the second thread bridge, just like we've started. Each time we start, we go through the second thread bridge, which is right here. Like that. Going to reinforce. You're going to go up the turquoise, down the silver, and up the turquoise. Like that. And back up. And that will straighten out. That silver bead should be standing on its side. Like that. So now we're going to pick up another turquoise. Go in the next thread bridge. Like that. Now go up the turquoise. Like that. Now you have 1 thread bridge left, so we're going to pick up a silver. Going under the thread bridge. And now back up the silver. Like that. So now we're starting a new row. Pick up silver and turquoise. One silver, one turquoise. Exiting here, going in the second thread bridge. Right, there's one, there's two, like that. Reinforce, go back up the turquoise, like that. Down the silver, and up the turquoise, like that. Add a silver right here. Go through that thread bridge. And then back up to silver, like that. Now we have to pick up 2 silver because we're at the end of our row here. So pick up 2 silver. Exiting this Delica, go in the second thread bridge right here. Reinforce, go up the silver on the left. Go down the silver on the right. Up the silver on the left, and that completes that row. So there is your completed heart. So we're going to repeat this pattern, but each time you make the pattern, you're doing the bottom of the heart first. So to get to the next starting point, you're exiting here, you're going to bring your needle down through these 5 Delicas right here. Like that. Now you bring your needle up through these 2 silver Delicas here. That's going to set you up to start the next heart. So just like we did here, we're going to repeat the process doing the bottom of the heart first, going this way. And advance your needle through and then do the top of the heart. So you can rewind if you need to. Refresh here. I'll get you started. So we're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise, like that. And you're reducing each time. So here we're doing 6 turquoise. The next round you're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, etc. until you get to the end. And just look at what you did here, and you'll know when you need to add the 2 silver at the end is when you only have 2 thread bridges left. Okay, so coming out of that Delica, I'm going into the second thread bridge like that. Pull your thread. Reinforce this first one. Go up the turquoise, down the silver, and up the turquoise. So from here you're going to add turquoise all the way until you get to the last thread bridge right here. That's going to need a silver one right there. So continue making these hearts. You're doing the bottom of the heart here and the top of the heart on this side. You're going to repeat that until you get to the end of your bracelet. So I'm going to continue making a few of these, and then I'm going to show you how to add thread if you run short, because you're probably most likely going to need to add thread. So go ahead and do a few hearts, and I'll be back with you shortly, and I'll show you how to add thread. Okay, I've made a few of these, and I'm starting to run short on my thread. So here's a good point to show you how to add thread. So that's why a second needle will be good to have on hand. I'm going to leave this needle on so that I can thread it through. but I want to leave it where it is so I know where my thread is coming out, because that's where I'm going to have my new thread come out. So this is my guide until I get my new thread cut. Then I will weave this back in and cut it off. Okay, once you have the length of thread cut that you want, what I do is I flatten the end with my flat nose. It makes it easier to thread the needle. So take your second needle, just pop that in. Now I'm going to bring my thread, and it really doesn't matter where you want to add your thread. I'm just going to go back a few rows and zigzag. I'm just going to go back here like this. There's no rhyme or reason, wherever you want to do it. And I'm going to leave a very short tail because I'm going to be cutting this once I zigzag to where I need to be. So I'm just going back and forth. I'm just using these 2 center beads as my area to bring my thread through back and forth. Like that. Go back down. Okay. Just keep pulling your thread. Try not to get it tangled on anything. So I'm coming out here. I'm just going to advance my needle up like that, and I'm going to go through these next 3 silver beads just to get it in position of where the thread is now so I don't lose my place. So if you pull, you'll notice the thread's not going anywhere, so it's nice and secure. You don't need to do any knots with this type of weave because it's pretty snug. So I'm going to bring my needle through these 3 beads right here, because that's where I'm leaving off my thread. So I have my new thread in place, ready to go. So I'm going to cut this tail off right here that I started with the new thread. So I'm going to take my old needle now. I'm going to weave this through, and same thing, you can weave in any direction. I'm going to come down like that, and I'm just going to bring my thread down to the tip of the heart like this, and then back up. That's good enough right there. So from here, I'm going to cut my old thread off. And now I'm good to go. Got my new thread on, and I'm going to continue making my hearts until I get near the end. So I'll meet you back. Okay, we're coming near the end here. Got all of these hearts done. I'm coming down to the last petal of this heart. Okay, so with my needle coming out of this end here, because I just completed this side, so I came back up through here, I'm going to pick up a silver and a Delica. So I'll do this last part with you, like that. Going in through the second thread bridge, 1, 2, right there. Go back up the turquoise, like that, down the silver, and up the turquoise, like that. Pull, pick up another turquoise, Go through the next thread bridge, back up the turquoise, pick up a silver, go down the next thread bridge, back up silver, now you're going to pick up a silver and a turquoise. Go through the second thread bridge. There's 1, 2. Reinforce. Go back up the turquoise, down the silver, and up the turquoise. Pick up a silver. Go through the next thread bridge. Go back up the silver bead. Now pick up 2 silver because we're at the end of our heart. Like that. Go through the second thread bridge. Reinforce. Go up the left silver, down the right silver, and back up the left silver. And that completes the heart. So now we're going to add the other side of our clasp. So from here we're going to advance our needle down through the next 5 Delicas. Like that. You're going to pick up 3 Delicas, like we did on the other side, a Firepolish, 3 silver Delicas, and your wire guardian. Now you're going to pass your needle back through the wire guardian, pick up 3 silver Delicas, go back through the Firepolish bead, like that. Pick up 3 more silver Delicas. Now bring your needle down through these 2 Delicas in the opposite direction where you started. Pull your thread. Reinforce 2 more times. Go through 1 more. Back through. Back down. And through the Firepolish. Down through the Delicas. Down through these 2. And do that 1 more time, and then I'll meet you back for the last step. Okay, I just reinforced for the 3rd time. My needle's coming out of these 2 Delicas here. And you're just going to weave your tail thread back in. So it doesn't matter what direction you go. I'm just going to come down the edge of my heart like that. Come back up. And I'm just going to come up these 2 And there's no need to do half hitch knots here because this is a very tightly woven and it's being reinforced several times. So no knots required on this. So that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to clip my thread and we'll call this part complete. Okay, so to complete the final steps, the first thing we're going to do is do a little dangle bead for our chain. So just grab your head pin and we're going to put a fire polish on here. Really, you can use any kind of bead you want here. You can put a pearl or a crystal, whatever works for you. I'm just going to take my round nose, bring that over like that, 90 degrees. Now I'm going to take my round nose, bring that up a bit, take my pliers and pull that up and down towards the table. Now I'm going to rotate my pliers towards the table, pull this facing the table like that. So that's what you should have. I'm going to open this a little bit because that's going to go on the end of my chain. Just slide that on like that. I'm going to take my skinny pliers and just hold on to that like that. I'm going to take another pair of skinny pliers and I'm going to wrap by pulling that around as close as you can. 2 or 3 times. That should be pretty good. So now we're going to take our wire cutters and clip that end right there. So just bring that as close as you can. And now using another pair of skinny pliers, I want to bring that sharp edge down so it's not poking anything. So that completes the dangle. All we're going to do now is add our chain. So I'm going to take my O-ring like that. Hold it with one pair of flat nose pliers and with another pair twist it towards you like that. So now I'm going to place that on the chain and on the end of my wire guardian like that. Now just close that, bringing it towards you, making sure there's no gaps. Now we're going to put the lobster clasp on. I'm using a 4mm jump ring. Just put my wire guardian on and my lobster clasp. Like that. Close it. Okay, that looks like that's pretty secure. So that completes our Dancing Hearts bracelet tutorial. It's a very whimsical bracelet, fun to make. It takes a few hours to do this because you have a lot of hearts to do, but you can set it down, go grab a cup of tea, and pick up where you left off. It's a very meditative piece. So I think you'll have a good time making this. And imagine all the different colors that you can try to make. I've got several on my website now, different color variations, so feel free to browse my website. I do want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit that like button and share it with all your family and friends. If you click more in the intro to this video, you'll see a description box, and in that you'll see a link to my website along with the list of suppliers. Also, you'll get detailed list of all of the materials you need for today's project. In addition, when you're checking out my website, I'm running a sale, half off, 50% off on purchases over $25. So yeah, what a deal. So check it out, because my sale is going to run through the end of September. And I usually do one of these a couple of times a year to clear out my inventory, because I got lots of stuff. So I'm making room for new stuff, making a great deal for all of you lovely customers. So have a wonderful week. Thanks again for joining me, and happy beading.